Greetings everyone, we are group 14 and today we'll be taking you through the various stages in research writing. Before we begin, let us introduce our team members. I am Laruna Lloyd Orakile. I am joined by Afia Chikanda, Tseofatso Peresi, Katlo Matapeng, Tusoke Etile, Abigail Machaba, Katlo Mutusi. Together we have worked on this presentation to break down the key steps that make up the process of research writing. We'll be taking you through the stages in their respective order, which are as follows: topic, introduction, research problem, objectives, hypothesis, literature review, research design, discussion, conclusions, and lastly, recommendations. The purpose of our presentation is to help you understand how research writing develops step by step, from identifying a topic to finally presenting recommendations. Research writing can be complex at first, but once you understand each stage and how they connect to each other, the process becomes more structured and manageable.
As my group leader said, my name is Kataro Matapeng, and I shall be taking you through the topic and introduction stages in the various stages of research writing. Topic. The topic is a specific subject or issue that a researcher chooses to study, analyze, and explore through. The topic serves to shape the study's focus, direction, and scope. Any good topic needs to be relevant, have clarity, and originality. Moving over to introduction. An introduction is the beginning part of any written material. Introductions are critical components of research papers as it sets the stage for the entire study. Introductions present the topic, provide context, and outline the research objective, ultimately guiding the reader towards a thesis statement. The primary purpose of any introduction is to provide the reader with a clear understanding of the research question, in addition to the scope, rationale, aims, and objectives of the study. I shall now be handing it over to Tseofatso Peresi to be taking you through research problems and objectives.
As my groupmate has already mentioned, my name is Tseofatso Peresi and I'll be taking you through research problem and objectives. Research problem is a specific issue or gap that the researcher aims to address through a systematic investigation. It serves as a foundation of the research. Characteristics of a research problem: being novel, presenting a fresh perspective or unexplored area of study. The second one being feasibility, capable of being examined effectively within the research limitations. Moving on to objectives. Objectives are the aims and goals that the researcher aims to achieve at the end of the research. They serve as a guide, ensuring that the study remains on point and organized. Objectives can be general, outlining the main purpose, and specific, breaking down tasks into measurable components. That is all from me. I'll be now handing over to Afia Chikanda to take you through the rest of the presentation.
As introduced by Tseofatso Peresi, I am Afia Shikan. I will be presenting about the stages of hypothesis and literature review in research writing. Hypothesis is a scientific guess by the researcher based on knowledge and observation about relationship between two or more variables. And the type of variables are the independent variable, the dependent variable, and the control variable. Importance of hypothesis in research writing. It helps in predicting outcomes in a research. It helps in guiding the methodology, and it gives direction to the research study. And we have steps in formulating the hypothesis in research writing, which are identifying the research problem, conducting background literature review check, defining and identifying the independent and dependent variables, formulating a clear hypothesis statement, ensuring that the hypothesis can be tested through tests and experiments, and the last one, stating the hypothesis properly for easy understanding to the readers, and revising and refining the hypothesis. And moving on to the fourth stage, which is literature review. Literature review is using already published literature related to the researcher's field of study to strengthen the foundation of knowledge. And we have reasons why literature review is needed in research writing. It helps in identifying research gaps. It helps in showing proof of reliability and creditability. It helps in guiding the hypothesis and objectives. in research writing. And lastly, we have types of literature review, which is the narrative literature review, the systematic literature review, the scope literature review, and the critical literature review. And I'll now hand over to Abigail Machab.
As my group member IFB25 already mentioned, I am Abigail Machaba and I will be taking you through research design and discussion as stages in research writing. Moving on to research design, it defines how data will be collected, measured, and analyzed. Research design helps the researcher to be able to answer the research question using empirical data. It also helps the researcher to be able to avoid staying away from the intended field of study. All in all, research design is a plan or framework that helps the researcher to be able to approach the research question systematically. Moving on to discussion, this is whereby the researcher delves into the meaning and importance of his or her results. The importance of discussion is to be able to explain new understanding that emerged as a result of your research and how it relates to the gap in the field. I will now be handing you over to Thuso Ketile to take you through conclusion and recommendations as stages in research writing.
Like my group mate Abigail Machawa said, I am Thuso Ketile and I will be taking you through the stages of conclusion and recommendations. A conclusion is a stage whereby the researcher summarizes findings, discusses implications, acknowledges limitations, and suggests future research directions. A well-crafted conclusion is important because it ties everything together, reinforcing the relevance and impact of the study. Then we move on to the recommendations part. These are specific suggestions for actions that arise from findings and conclusions of a study. They are important because they make research findings useful and applicable in real-life situations. Now I'll be handing over to my group mate Kato Mutsusi, who will take you through the references part.
As already mentioned by Thuso Ketile, I am Kato Mutsusi and I will be taking you through reference as a stage in research writing. It is all about stating where you got the information from as the researcher. It provides validity to research findings and it contains books, journals, and articles used by the researcher while conducting a research. It is done mainly to support arguments and findings in a research, to allow readers to locate and verify information, and most importantly to avoid plagiarism and give credit to the original author and avoid intellectual property theft. The list should contain the last name of the author, the initial, the year of publication, and the title. And lastly, the reference list should be according to the alphabetical order by the name of the author.
As we conclude, here's a brief recap of our presentation. We started with the topic, the base of every research study, where ideas are refined into focused and relevant areas. The introduction sets the context and explains the study's aim. The research problem, objectives, and hypothesis shapes what the study aims to achieve. The literature review and research design guides how the study is carried out, while the discussion, conclusion, and recommendations summarize findings and future actions. These together form a clear and logical process which is termed stages in research writing. That is all from us. Thank you.